There's an iconic canal in the heart of the British Isles. It's down in the annals of history for being a pioneer, the early landmark of the industrial age. And although today in the 21st century, British canals are much loved places of leisure, joy and entertainment, there's one small section of this canal which remains forgotten about. One small section, only a few hundred metres in length, that has been lost. Since the day it was first filled back in, history lovers have been asking the question, can this historic canal ever become complete again?
This behind me is the Bridgewater Canal, arguably the first canal of the industrial age anywhere in the world, and it was opened in 1761. So this is Runcorn, a beautiful part of the northwest, and this is where the canal comes to, and this is the basin where it ends. Just down there under the bridge is where the Bridgewater Canal now meets its end, but it isn't traditionally where it ended. So where was that, and why has it been infilled? Well, there might be a guy up there on the bridge who might be able to help us out.
The Bridgewater Canal has legendary status in industrial history. Opened in 1761, it's the first canal of the age that didn't directly follow an already existing natural watercourse. This is a clever way of wording it so that the slightly older Sankey Canal, not far away, can be battered into the long grass of history. But second place or not, the Bridgewater was the canal that took the infant industrialisation of the country, gave it some speed, and opened it up to a world of opportunity. Originally, the canal only went from the Duke of Bridgewater's collieries in Worsley to Manchester city centre, but a year later, in 1762, work was begun to extend it westward, to meet the River Mersey at Runcorn. This not only created a pathway for boats heading in more direct way to the Mersey, but also brought economic growth to places along its length, especially Runcorn itself, where industry began to flourish. Runcorn sits nearly 30 metres above the Mersey though, so a flight of 10 locks had to be constructed. This was such a massive and novel engineering feat that some called it a wonder of our time. These were the only locks in the entire length of canal at the time of opening. The Duke of Bridgewater financed the building of Runcorn docks on the edge of town and oversaw the construction of the canal here from a new home called Bridgewater House, a small stately addition to the town that must have stuck out like a sore thumb amongst a mix of warehouses and rural background. For all of its iconic status as a historic canal, the Bridgewater was outdone in the 1880s by another historic canal being built, the massive Manchester Ship Canal. The construction of the Ship Canal around Runcorn meant that the lock connection was kept, which is what you can see today here. In fact, by then there were 2 flights of locks heading down to the canal. But over the years the locks here became more and more underused, and by the 1960s the locks were filled in and the industrial era of the canal ended for good. In 1961 the beautiful Silver Jubilee Bridge was built at Runcorn, and it made use of the land right here where the canal had once been. For decades this space was taken up by concrete tentacles of the bridge approach roads. Later the land where the new flight of locks had been was also taken over by houses. At this point even the most optimistic canal enthusiast had to admit that this whole section of the canal will probably never be in water again. But things have changed in recent years. The Bridgewater is now a well-loved canal for pleasure boaters, forming a connection to Manchester, Liverpool and the Cheshire Ring. And there's momentum gathering to get this final part of the canal restored. Luckily, I've been invited to Runcorn by Stephen from the charity Unlock Runcorn, who's invited me down to talk me through the plans.
So this is Stephen J Holloran, and you work for Unlock Runcorn, don't you?
I do, that's the rumour, yeah.
And who are Unlock Runcorn? What do they do?
Unlock Runcorn was founded in 2004, and it's been this long-running project that we're trying to bring together, and it's only been in the last, 4 years since the Mersey Gateway opened, where we could get rid of all that approach roads. I don't know if you've seen any of this in the past, where, old photos of the Runcorn Bridge where you had all this approach roads and it was very ugly and concrete. Once that gone, it enabled all this space to open.
Interesting.
And we're able to sort of bring that to life now.
So hang on, so the development of the Mersey Gateway Bridge unlocked an opportunity to unlock the rest of the Bridgewater Canal?
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's right, it was the construction of the Mersey Gateway Bridge, which opened in 2017, that strangely led to the opportunity to breathe new life back into the canal. As soon as the bridge was opened, the old Silver Jubilee Bridge was closed and the roads reconfigured, meaning that the busy approach road and slip roads seen on the map here were completely demolished, leaving just the smaller Waterloo Bridge and the old canal footprint bare to the sky once more. This has allowed this part of the town to open up to human beings again, and straight away the dream was to see this patch of land back in water. A blue-green oasis now within reach.
It's been going since 2004.
Yeah, it was a campaign to get, because Graham and the rest of the team at the time really wanted to make this a reality, and it's took them this long through trial and error, through campaigning, through raising money and awareness to get to this point, and we're only just scratching the surface, because phase one is a project about making more money and about opening this one little bit.
Yeah, this tiny little bit
and
of the Bridgewater Canal
you've seen it.
So this isn't just about unlocking the canal for the sake of unlocking the canal. Really, it's about opening Runcorn up to an opportunity for regeneration, for moving into the future, about community engagement and stuff like that.
Oh, I mean, and that's my bag. I'm a community engagement officer. I didn't say that, did I? I'm a community engagement officer, and I'm having a blast doing all this, and that's why I contacted you, because I know that you'd be interested in something this precious, and there's a lot of history that's gone on since. I mean, it was the 80s when this was all blocked up. A lot of it won't be restored or reopened, or because a lot of this will be with a modern twist as well, and that's another thing. There's some things I can't say, but there's a lot of modern ingenuity that's going to be in this, and it's not just about restoring, because a lot of it was lost.
Yeah,
like you can see this, there's a big lock gate, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's just gone, rotted, so we have to rebuild that.
Right, okay.
And make it much more viable for the modern age.
Right, you've just teased some secrets there. Like, why can't you reveal what's actually?
Well, because a lot of it is moving, because that's why it's in phases.
Yeah.
Because one phase bleeds into another phase, which enables phase 3, and we're hoping that this will be done in the next few years.
Right. But the whole thing.
Hopefully, yeah.
The whole thing the next few
hopefully.
Years. Excellent.
We're focusing on the community engagement side of it. So the boats tours, which we can reveal, are going to be out in June, July, and there's going to be a lot of volunteer opportunities. Yeah. So do you want to be a skipper?
Definitely.
Yeah, you sure?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I've driven one canal boat. I've driven one canal boat.
Is that the right expression for boats?
I bumped into another boat while I was doing it.
Ah.
But
we can
I'd
train
definitely
you
be
up.
A skipper.
Yeah, we'll train you up. You get a hat, I think.
Do I get a life vest?
If we didn't, we have to look at our working practices.
Do I get a horn to get other people out of the way?
Unlike many canals up and down the country, the Bridgewater was largely spared the abandonment of its length during those dark days of the 60s, 70s and 80s, all except this tiny stretch of locks at the end. And I must admit, for a social history nerd like me, seeing images like this of canal dereliction is in itself kind of beautiful. British canals being run down during the mid to late 20th century is just another chapter in the story of us as a country. They provide a grim, often sullen canvas to the era, symbolic of abandonment, of the all-powerful economic system struggling through deindustrialisation and not knowing what to do with obsolete infrastructure that took the effort of tens of thousands to create, only to ultimately opt to fill it in and go for the cheap option of a simple, grassy path. So what we see today in Runcorn, the sliver of a green corridor, holds itself a story of an era, and in my view is ever as important a part of the canal's story as its opening. But recreation of a canal here is also monumental. There's an opportunity to recreate the canal here, but better than it ever was.
That's the thing that really excites me about this project, is seeing this go from what it is now, which is kind of nice, it's a pathway, it's a green space, but seeing it go back to being a waterway, but not a waterway which is kind of derelict and irrelevant, but flourishing and part of the makeup of the community.
And with a modern twist, like I teased before, and I'm keep teasing you.
I'm not having this.
There's things happening all the way along, which is going to be a little bit of history, but with a little bit of modern twist, which is going to be exciting for
modern twist, like what, laser beams,
maybe
Bluetooth.
But again, a lot of it is subject to how much support we get, how much engagement we get, because without people getting involved and throwing their hat in, but the thing is, without people doing that, we won't be able to get very far, and it's got us this far. But at the same time, we need to keep doing it.
There's more to go.
We're at the precipice of something really amazing with the boat tours and the CAF and whatever. We just need to get over that line.
Yeah. You've got momentum now.
Yes.
It's about driving that forward.
Is it 4 mile an hour a boat travels at?
Yeah. Don't go any faster. Get in trouble.
This is a role Stephen has only stepped into recently as the project is getting off the mark. He's been a campaigner and local enthusiast all of his life, and it's really great to meet him and see such enthusiasm and positivity at the forefront of this project.
So where are we now?
We are at phase 1, or what will be phase 1, right next to the Waterloo Bridge. You're going to have a CAF there, and it's going to be high end, it's going to be brilliant. And then you've got this bit, which is going to be the canal. Yep. And this is what phase 1 comes in, because the canal's going to come out a little bit more. Like I said before, it's going to just about touch, and you've got all this space, which is like a park area. It's going to be sort of like, if you want an ice cream, it's going to be an ice cream van or whatever. You know what I mean? It's going to be all sorts going on. This place is now, it's, you know, empty, but it's going to be full of life.
But I you know what really excites me about this is I like, because I'm a history nerd, but I also like to translate that history into the modern world, like what it looks like now. And this is basically doing that all in one.
This is you. This is your sort of ambition, what you really floats your boat, in a sense.
Well,
no pun intended.
Exactly.
But the thing is, it's like, this is what you love, what you present.
Yeah.
In reality. I'm assuming you're going to be here when we get the first spade in the ground.
I'm going to try and be the first spade in the ground.
Here we go. Here's the lobbying. What do you want for this?
I'm going to come down the night before and just do a sneaky little spade in the ground just to be the first one.
I must admit, this all sounds very exciting. The image of boats on this part of Runcorn and a world famous historic canal finally restored in full does wonders to sweep away that jaded feeling that money and politics could get in the way of something like this. By breaking the project down into 3 stages, the team have been quite clever, creating achievable targets and managing expectations. But this is one of them things that needs a bigger crowd behind it.
What about the volunteering then?
Volunteering. So I'm currently training on a new database, which will enable people, let's say if you want to volunteer, you get to create a profile, register your details, and then you'll be on a database. And if you see an advert saying Unlock Runcorn, we need a skipper, or Unlock Runcorn, we need you to be here for an event, you can just click on it and say apply.
Nice.
And then I get to say no because I don't like you. No. But that's what I'm saying. It's going to be all this accessibility about volunteering, and I'm looking for a good team of like-minded people, like you, a bit like me, people who look at this and go, wow, potential.
Well, thanks for inviting me here, and thanks for showing me everything. And
you liked it?
I have really liked it. It's
good.
got me juices flowing in a good way. And I hope to see you again pretty soon.
Well, you will. It's only it's no watch, but you've got like 3 months left until we launch these boats, and we want you there for the immediate event. Hopefully we can get you volunteering as well. Get the first volunteer. get you driving the boat or
How much do I get paid for this volunteering?
We'll discuss it off camera. But there'll be favours.
So there you go, the plan to restore the last tiny stretch of the historic Bridgewater Canal. To get a project like this done and to see that first boat leaving the canal and heading into the Ship Canal for the first time in decades will be epic. But it needs people power to make it happen. It needs enthusiastic souls like Stevens and others like him to keep the ball rolling. Because ultimately this is more than just about a canal restoration, it's about catalysing a new era of prosperity in an often overlooked northern town. It's about people, community, and something positive in the news headlines for a change.